Hello. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? Sorry, I'm going to change my glasses. That helps a little bit. Hey, Ryan, how are you? Queen, good to see you. So, tonight I want to go through I'm just going to go through some of the testimony and go over what I saw and what I think about it. But what I'm going to say for sure is I don't think that woman cares about anybody at all other than herself. And as truly devastated as she has made that family, they're not broken. They're there for each other, and it's really sweet. It's a lot. It's a lot for anybody to deal with, but they're there for each other, and it's really, really nice. It's really special to see, to watch them support each other and encourage each other, and because she's just thoroughly enjoying this. I mean, you can see how much she laughs. She's just enjoying it. I mean, there's her son right there, brokenhearted. And she just thinks she's cute. It's really gross. I could see her. I had a really bad view where I was at. I had to keep trying to move around and see, but I could see she was trying to look at Colby, but act like she wasn't. The woman sitting next to me said she actually saw her look at him and smile just for a second. I, of course, didn't see that, but her behavior is literally. But what would you expect after what she's done already? I mean, good night. She's evil. She's literally evil. And what's really weird to me, how many things that we've learned in this trial, I would have thought that we've heard it all by now. And today, again, we've learned. I learned even more today that I had never heard. Hey, Frazzle, Beck, and Diamond. Colby said she did. Yeah, that the lady sitting next to me said she definitely saw it. Oh, did you? Yeah, I didn't see that. I got out of there. I was ready to get home, and I knew I had traffic and all this nonsense. So, and I get the people said they saw Colby and all of them at lunch, but I went running around trying to find myself that blanket that I was so freaking cold in there. I saw the I was one of the first to get out of the courtroom at the end. So, but I saw them setting up. I didn't watch any of it though. Not that part. I was ready to get home. But yeah, I want to see. I want to kind of go over some of this. It was actually a really emotional day to be there. Just still, all these years and all the things we've gone through with this, and we've watched and everything, it still blows my mind that these two people could just really just do such evil. I don't know any other word for it. It's just horrible. So it was really wild to see Colby and Kay together like that. If I thought that Lori had a heart, if I thought she was a normal mother that felt things that mothers feel, I would think that would hurt her. I don't know that she can really be hurt, honestly. It would be more than I could do. It would be more than I could take. I mean, obviously I would never find myself in her position, but to see today, you would think that would hurt her. I don't think that's possible, but the support that they get from each other is really, really touching to me. It's very touching. Right. Yeah, I saw that the other day and I thought, what the hell? I agree. I agree, Frazzle. And it's just so strange the way that I thought her and Chad both were going to put it all on Alex. I just assumed that was the plan, honestly. I mean, he was clearly the hitman. I think that you'll never convince me that he died of natural causes. I'm sorry. With this whole thing, nobody died of natural causes. No one. I did tell you guys earlier, Annie Cushion was in there. I'm not a fan of hers one bit. I'm telling you, that lady is a little bit weird. And I'll just admit it. Last night I commented because I don't know why her stuff keeps coming up for me. I guess a lot of stuff about the trial, people I've never watched before are coming up. And she came up for me last night. I clicked on it just long enough to go in there and tell her what I thought about her. Not gonna lie, I did. Ask her what the hell she's even bothering doing here. And I was, I thought to myself, I hope she doesn't get to go in and be like family. Because as far as like at this point in this trial, she's really not. And after the hateful things that she said, I just don't like her. Hello, Kentucky woman. So yeah, I told you guys earlier that I had seen Rex and Adam both out in the lobby. And then, but they weren't in the courtroom when we went to sit down. So of course, Adam came in when they called him as a witness. And then Rex came and sat down then. And then Rex left with him. See, they were really there for each other. And that's something, she can't stop that. I don't actually know what her intentions are right now, other than to, dig the knife in deeper and twist it. That's about all I can imagine that her motive is. It's just so gross. But I want to go through some of this. You could tell this was hard on him. This was not.
Please introduce yourself to the jury.
My name is Adam Cox.
How old are you, Adam?
I just turned 56.
And what do you currently do for a living or for life?
I'm a pro pickleball player and instructor.
Where are you living now? Just what state?
I live in Arizona.
Back in July of 2019, where were you living?
Which Kansas?
Prior to your pickleball career, did you have a different career?
I did.
What was that?
I was a radio morning show host.
Is that
gonna
why you were
fast
in
forward
Wichita?
through some of this.
Yes.
Did that make you travel a lot? And can you describe your brother Alex's relationship with your sister Lori? Were they close?
I mean, I don't know if close is the word I would use growing up, but
Describe
just
for us.
normal
Yes, Basil.
brother-sister relationship, I guess.
As they became adults, did they continue to be close, or what do you recall of their
100%.
relationship?
Yeah, over the last, I guess 4 or 5 years,
The last 4 or 5 years between them was what?
they were closer. They were close for like a year and a half, is what I remember.
Before this happened?
Yeah, they became oddly close for a while.
See, oddly,
How about the relationship between Charles and Alex? Do you recall what that was like?
Just a normal brother-in-law relationship, I guess.
Did you ever know them to do things just the two of them?
No, I don't have any knowledge of that.
Did your family sort of do a lot of big family events where everyone might be together?
Yes. Yeah.
Birthday meals, holidays?
Yes.
Adam, did you grow up a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
Yes.
And are you still a member of that?
Yes.
At some point, was your brother Alex excommunicated?
Yes.
Do you recall when that was?
I think he was excommunicated twice. So I'm not sure the dates or when that happened, but when he was an adult.
In 2019, was he still excommunicated to your knowledge?
Yes.
What does that mean to be excommunicated?
It means that you
was
do
considered
certain
one.
things to where the church it takes away your membership from the church.
Are you able to go to temple if you're excommunicated?
No.
Is that important?
Going to the church in our faith is important, yes.
Let's talk about your relationship with Charles Vallow. Did you and Charles ever text?
Yes.
Did you and Charles ever talk on the phone?
Yes.
When Lori and Charles were married, were you aware that Charles would pay for things for the family, like cell phones?
Yeah, I heard that there's people in our family that they're on his business cell plan.
Or car insurance?
Don't know about car insurance, but
You knew about the cell phones.
yeah.
what I have actually heard is that he bought cars for different people in the family. I don't know that. I've never heard anything about car insurance. And obviously, I have no direct knowledge.
Did you know what Charles did for a living?
Yes.
What was it?
He sold insurance.
We're going to
That
go
was-
through this.
Were you aware of whether or not your sister Lori worked prior to marrying Charles?
Yes.
Do you know what kind of work she did?
She was a hairstylist.
Okay. After she married Charles, did she continue to work outside the home?
At a hair salon?
Yeah.
No.
In this email was the person pretending to be Charles asking this,
Oh, yeah, here we go.
and did you, without going into it, did you review that email?
Yes.
Did you know Charles, what he had done in his life prior to selling insurance?
Yeah, I know that he played minor league baseball.
And in this email was the person pretending to be Charles asking about writing a book about his career.
Yes.
Was that something you knew Charles was not interested in?
No, he's not or wasn't.
After you saw those emails that Charles had forwarded to you, where someone was reaching out to Chad, were they inviting Chad out to Arizona?
So crazy, right?
Yes.
After reading that and getting that forward and talking with Charles, did you believe that Lori was having an affair with Chad Daybell?
Yes.
Did you and Charles spend time talking about that?
Yes.
Was he kind of, I guess, in a tailspin? I'm not sure the best words to say from learning that.
Yeah, he seemed a little desperate.
Did Charles have some idea on how he thought he might be able to get Lori back into the LDS faith?
Yes.
What did you understand that to be?
Charles just thought that Lori was going overboard and that she
Yeah.
was going to the temple.
I don't think we really need to.
Ultimately, what you are seeing and saying that morning at 7:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And all two had, as you're trying to figure out how to have this intervention,
Yes.
and then ultimately what you are seeing and saying that morning at 7:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And I've shown defendant exhibit 210, if I can have a paralegal approach with that.
They're going to go over the text messages from,
Right?
Yes.
In talking with Charles and this intervention, was there a constant concern of how she would respond to trying to take away her temple recommend?
Yes.
Was some of that based upon your understanding of the things she had said to Charles in the past?
That and others. Apparently, Lori was flighty. When Charles served her, tried to serve her divorce papers, she disappeared and nobody knew where she was. So in Charles's mind, that she could be flighty and just take off again, where nobody would know where she is. So there was some definite reference to that as well.
Okay.
So what-
Then it goes on to say,
is-
I'll pick up JJ and take him to school. So you knew what he was doing that next morning, right?
Yes.
And you said she'll be there, right?
Yes.
Friday the same. So you knew his idea was he was going to be with his son in the mornings, Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
And then you said she'll be highly suspicious about recording. If you can bring a second device and put your phone on the counter or turn it off, it might help. Is that sort of the same idea that he was unsure that she would trust you showing up there and trying to ask her about those things?
Yes. This was all just it seemed like Charles was just desperate, and he wanted to do anything he could to, this is last ditch effort to try to shake Lori loose of whatever she was under, some spell that he said. So, that's basically what happened.
And then does he go on again to talk about that he really thinks the only thing that's going to break her out of this is going to Holmes?
Yeah. Yes.
And that she
Yeah, that's-
Summers and that you'll call him.
Yes.
Yeah. At this point, you'd said you went to Summers in the text messages, and then later you stayed at your parents' for the night.
Yes.
And then you knew that Charles would be going to pick up his son the next morning. Did you assume that you and Charles would meet up or talk sometimes later that day?
I figured so.
Okay. But you had no scheduled timeline for
Nothing
that?
planned.
Okay. So next in Exhibit 210, we see text messages from July 11th of 2019 at 7:35 a.m. where Charles texted you, Al is here. And then just a couple of seconds later, he said, at Lori's. Was this shocking to you?
Yes.
And what did you respond back? Did you say, really, I wonder why he never called me back?
Yes.
And then we see that you wrote at 7:36 and 28 seconds, they are planning something.
See, right there. I mean, what a creepy feeling, right? Still, so much of the time you cannot get, death around your head. You can't go into that kind of a thought, right? But how weird. I got to be honest with you though, Frazzled. It was about money. It was about money. Tammy and Charles had to die because they wanted their money. Those two were not providers. Those two did not. Their spouses were the ones that provided for them. They just did whatever the hell they wanted to do all the time. And they wanted to live a lifestyle that they weren't going to pay for. They weren't going to work for. There's a part at the end here I really want to.
July 11th, at any time, did you learn that Charles Vallow had been shot?
No.
Yeah, right here.
So Lori did not call you and tell you that Charles had been shot?
No.
Alex didn't call you to tell you that he'd shot your brother-in-law?
No.
Anyone in your family talk to you about it?
Nope.
How about the next day, Friday, July 11th? Did Lori tell you Charles had been shot?
No.
Alex contact you to tell you that he'd shot Charles?
No.
Anyone in your family talk to you about that?
No.
Did you decide to go visit a friend in Tucson on Saturday the 13th now?
Yes.
What were you going down there for?
Going to see my friend Eric.
And did anyone come with you?
Yes, Zach did, my son.
Okay. When you went down there, did you talk with Eric about what's going on?
Yeah, I just thought it was really fishy that I haven't heard from Charles. And I didn't know if he took JJ and just was having one-on-one time with JJ. I didn't know if Lori and him were getting back together and Lori told him not to talk to me. Or my mind was spinning. Like I had no clue what was going on.
Had you talked to any of your family about it? Were you still keeping that intervention thing secret from them at that point?
No, at that point, but I think my nobody had heard from. I asked if anybody had heard from Alex, and nobody said that they heard from Alex in my family. But at that point, I was there spending time with my son Zach, also to help Charles with what he wanted to try to get an intervention with Lori, and also to see my friend Eric because I live in Wichita. So I was trying to do 3 things at one time on my short visit.
So on the 11th or 12th, though, were you still keeping that sort of secret that you and Charles had been wanting to do an intervention on Lori?
Yes.
You weren't telling your family, like, I don't know why we're not doing this.
Charles asked me not to tell anybody.
And was that actually sort of a message you guys had talked about of who in your family might be, might prevent any type of intervention?
Yes.
And who in your family were you guys concerned with if they learned about the intervention might try to stop it?
Mom and Dad, Summer.
Alex too?
Alex, yes.
So even though you're here and you're seeing your family and you're seeing your son, you don't want to tell them a lot about Charles because you're trying to still keep that quiet in case he does want to go forward with it.
Exactly, yes.
So you're in Tucson and you start talking to your friend about Charles.
Yes.
Do you learn at some point that Charles has been killed?
Yes. I was talking with Eric saying something doesn't feel right. I haven't heard from Charles, and usually he would text me or send me a message or something. And then Eric asked me, he goes, well, what's his last name? And I said, Vallow. And he was on his computer and he just Googled Charles Vallow. And he said, it popped up that he's been killed by his brother-in-law.
So you learn this. What is going through your mind now?
Just everything, chaos. That is not in my stomach. Just probably one of the worst feelings I've ever felt in my life.
Obviously, you had been concerned that something was being planned when you told Charles that on the morning of the 11th, right? But
well,
not that.
Not that, but yeah, it felt like something was off that why Alex would be at Lori's house that morning.
Did you know your brother Alex to carry guns with him?
Yes.
Did he regularly go shooting with guns?
Yes.
Prior to Charles being shot and killed, did you ever tell Lori that you were going to be trying to do this intervention with her?
No.
prior to Charles being shot, did you ever tell Alex, hey, I'm going to stay with you, but we're trying to do an intervention with Lori?
No,
What about your parents? Did you ever tell them you were going to try to do an intervention?
no,
Your sister Summer?
no.
So if your sister told detectives a couple hours after Charles was shot that she was confronting Charles about you and Charles talking and texting,
Hello to this.
it wasn't something that you told her about.
No.
You told us that you are LDS. Have you ever taught Sunday school?
Yes.
Can you tell us about the story of Nephi?
Nephi?
Mhm.
Well, Nephi was a prophet in the Book of Mormon. It's the first chapter. He was a prophet, very humble and faithful servant of the Lord. Ironically enough, his brothers tried to kill him at one point. But he actually ended up going to Jerusalem to get these plates back. And he was run off, came back, and then went back again because the Lord asked him to. And when he did, the King Laban, who was actually a wicked king, was laying on the ground drunk in front of him. And Nephi was told to kill Laban.
Who was he told by? Holy Spirit to tell him to kill Laban? And
Yes.
did he?
He did.
Was that something he anguished over?
Yes.
But ultimately, it was a justified killing.
Yes.
So was the concept that it was better for Nephi to kill this one evil man and sort of benefit the nation and his descendants?
Yes.
Were you aware that that your sister had told people that Charles was possessed by evil spirits?
Yes.
Were you aware that your sister had told people that your brother?
I just want to say real quick, at this time, the jury is they're really paying attention, like big time. They're writing a lot. I would say, I noticed like 4 of them, I think, write down a lot of things, but they were paying close attention to this, and they were writing.
Brother-in-law Charles was dark.
Objection. Calls for hearsay.
It's whether or not he was aware of it.
Whether or
Yes
not
or
he's
no?
aware, he can answer yes or no.
Yes.
Can't stand her, I swear I can't.
When you and Charles were talking about this intervention, were you trying to help your sister come back to mainstream LDS beliefs?
Yes.
Right.
So it wasn't just Charles, but also her.
Yes.
Me too, Queen. Me too.
You told us that your friend had Googled and learned that Charles was killed. Did you know at that time it was by your brother Alex?
That's what the article said. So yes, he told me that.
What did you do after you learned that?
Freaked out for a little bit, cried, didn't know what to do. Thought my world was coming apart. Then I got angry a little bit, and then called first thing I did, I was called Kay, who's Charles's sister, and asked her, because she's the only one that I felt safe calling after knowing my family was involved in this or thinking of this, that I asked her if she knew that Charles was dead, and she
Listen
said
to
she
that.
just
My
learned of it
family's
too.
involved in this.
Did you learn from your friend when, because it's now the 13th when you learned this, right?
Yes.
Did you learn when that happened?
Yes, I did.
So you knew on that Saturday, the 13th, that Charles had been killed that morning
Yes.
of July 11th.
Yes.
Did you ever come back to Phoenix and confront anyone in your family about this or talk to them about it?
Yes. After I talked to Kay, then I called my mom and asked her if she knew that Charles was dead. And she said yes. And I said, what's going on? And she said, you tell me what's going on. And at that point, I thought that was bizarre that she would say that. So I said, well, we need to sit down and talk. And she said, yes, we do. And so me and Zach got in the car and drove back to Phoenix.
Did you go to your mom's house?
Right. Listen to the gravity of that. Think about that. I mean, you try to put yourself in someone's position and you think about your family and you think if something crazy like that happened, like I can't imagine thinking, I can't talk to my parents about this. I can't talk to my sister, my brother. Like, it's just, because way too often we get caught up in her antics. And there is a family that has been, this is insane. These are things that should not be happening to a family. And she's responsible for all of this. For other relationships, it's really crazy.
Yes, I did.
Did that conversation go well?
No.
Did this create a break in your relationship with your mom?
Yes.
Did you stick up for Charles?
Yes.
Did sticking up for Charles create issues between you and most of your family?
Yes.
Did you continue to stick up for Charles even with that happening?
Yes.
After you had that argument with your mom, what did you do?
Me and Zach left her house and we were staying at Summer's house, my sister, who was away on vacation. And we were staying at her house and we went back to her house. We were watching her dog.
You were supposed to leave the next morning, Sunday, to go back to Wichita. Did you return back home?
Yes, we did.
Did your son go with you this time?
Yes, he did.
After
He was afraid.
this whole incident happened, did you not talk with your family for a long time?
Yes.
Did it cause a lot of friction in your family?
Yes.
Have you started to try to talk with your family some?
Yes.
I have no other questions, Your Honor.
Cross.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. This was so cringe to me. When she starts questioning him, it was like she was trying to have this conversation with him. First of all, the way she asks questions and the way she's so, I know it's her, it's honestly, I believe it's a lot of it. A lot of it, she's trying to be nasty. She's trying to be who she is. But a lot of it is her thinking that she sounds professional. And she just doesn't. And one thing I like about this, about the fact that she is this way, she can spit off, case precedents, whatever, all of her stupidity. The fact is, she inevitably, she does ask questions that are not going to be helpful to her. I'm kind of not, I kind of wish that the judge had not helped her yesterday when he said, you're going to open a door there. We had just talked about that right before he came, right before we heard him say that. I said, oh my God, she is opening a door and I am here for it. Let her do it. She's going to ask questions that this way she thinks she's so smart. This is all for nothing other than, well, I do want Charles to get justice. I absolutely do. But her antics are for nothing other than to dig the hole deeper, to make it worse on all the people that she's hurt. But because she thinks she's so smart and she's really, in my opinion, people give her way too much credit. People, you listen to even Keith Morrison, a lot of these people say she's really smart. I don't think she is, quite honestly. I don't think she is at all. She's extremely manipulative. I guess you have to have some be kind of smart to manage that. She's been very successful at being manipulative, but she's not smart. She's a piece of crap. She's not going home. Exactly right. She's not going home. Ever. So to do this is nothing more than to just keep it going. But look how, for a lot of years, he didn't even have a relationship with anybody else in his family. And that's the kind of thing that doesn't bother her one bit. This is cringe, guys. I don't know. Oh my God. I was sitting there like, I can't. I just cannot with her. She's so weird too. She's just weird to me. Look at his face. I couldn't. I had tears in my eyes.
Mr. Cox, how long has it been since we've seen each other in person?
Don't know.
When was the last time you saw me?
I don't recall.
So, has it been a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6
Something like
years,
that.
7 years, 8 years?
Something.
Okay. So, you have no idea.
Nope.
You have no idea when the last time you saw me in person.
I don't know the year or how many years it's been.
Okay. So, did you see me at Colby's wedding in January 2018?
No, I was not there.
You didn't come to Colby's wedding.
No, I did not.
So, did you see me sometime that year at my house
Possibly.
where Colby got married? That house.
I did see you at that house. Yes.
At least one time.
Yes.
So, possibly in 2018.
Yes.
And when was the last time we had any communications?
The last time I remember our communications was you and I were speaking in the kitchen when the family was over.
Okay. So you think that was that time in 2018?
I think so.
Okay. And were we eating my green chili chicken enchiladas?
Do not remember that.
That right there, that made me so mad. I don't know why. I just wanted to say, shut up. What do you mean? My chicken green chili enchilada. Just shut your mouth. Nobody cares about your damn enchiladas. You kill people, I cannot with her. Hey, Ryan. Oh my gosh. Can you believe that? Exactly. Who cares about your cooking? That is so gross. Doesn't it feel to you like she's just trying to have this conversation with him? It was so weird. Exactly. She wants people to be, that's exactly right. She's always trying to act like she's this, she was always this great mother and wife. Stop. I don't care how awesome you were. Once you started killing people, that's gone. Your enchiladas don't mean shit. You psycho. Certain things she says, I swear I cannot with her. Exactly right. Yeah, she was this, hi neighbor. Oh, freaking can't handle people like that. Oh yeah, I was so hungry. Hey, Ryan, it is freezing in there. I spent my lunch. I was hungry actually, but I spent my lunch running amok, getting something warm to wear. It was so cold, I could not take it. Just keep that in mind. Bring something, even if you don't end up wearing it. Anyway, I'll get back to this.
You do not remember that?
Nope.
Is that what I made every time we had a family get together, which was like 10 times a year?
I don't remember that.
Okay. And when was the last time that we had a phone call or text message?
I have no idea.
Could it possibly be around that exact same time?
Possibly.
Okay. So that was possibly in early 2018?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Debbie, it doesn't matter. See, that's just it. And you know what? She doesn't like, he's refusing to acknowledge her enchiladas. Thank
Who do
you
you
for
think
that.
initiated the final communication in our relationship?
Who concluded it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So right now it's 2025, is that correct?
Yes.
And so we haven't spoken in about 8 years. Would that be correct?
Probably 7 or 8 years.
Okay. So would you say up until that point that how often would we communicate before that?
Before what?
Before 2018?
Probably on a regular basis. Once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month.
Like a call or a text message?
Yes.
Just keeping in touch?
Yes.
See?
You know of us living in Hawaii and you were
Debbie, what he was doing, that he was cutting her off. Like, I'm not giving you what you are asking for. That's what he was doing. He was saying, I'm not giving you this. And, like I said, he was visibly sad. He's not trying to play her antics. That's my opinion. Yeah, I'm not here about your enchiladas. Stop it. I mean, come on.
living in Kansas at the time?
Yes.
And in your career, you lived in lots of different places. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Austin,
Yes.
Dallas,
Yes.
New York,
Yes.
Wichita,
Yes.
Sacramento.
Yes.
Did I miss anything?
Others?
And I was in Texas,
Yes.
See, she's trying to have
Arizona,
a conversation with him.
Hawaii.
Yes.
So would you say that we were not physically close during the past 20 years?
Yes, I would say that.
So our communication would be solely family get-togethers, occasional text messages. Is that correct?
And phone calls, yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Cox, did you see or hear or personally witness me conspire with my brother Alex Cox to murder my husband Charles Vallow?
Realize I'm freezing here too.
Repeat that again?
Okay. Did you see with your eyes or hear with your ears or personally witness me conspire with my brother Alex Cox to murder my husband Charles Vallow?
No.
Thank you. No more questions.
You believe that shit? I'll email you guys and tell you what I learned today to help you out. Or at the end of this, I'll talk about it. Yeah. Yeah, I can't go next week at all. We're gonna end up going out of town next week. I got there about 7:30 today, after 7, because I woke up late. And I was okay. I was good. Starts at 10:30. Go upstairs though. The line is not out. The line's not downstairs at all. It's not outside. It's all upstairs. Yes. I think you'll be okay. But yeah, because I was outside looking for the line. And it was upstairs. I would have been not good. Yeah. So she finally gets to a question after she spent that time visiting with him, right? Trying to get his, I don't know. It was very cringe to me.
Redirect?
This part I think is really good.
Have you talked to your sister since Charles was shot and killed?
No.
So since that happened, you cut off all communications with her?
Yes.
Prior to that, you were being asked about 2018 being at Lori and Charles's house. Was that the time where Lori told you she was becoming a celestial being?
Yes.
And the time where she was telling you other ideas that were not in line with the LDS faith?
Yes.
After you had heard those statements by your sister, you told us that she had asked you if you thought she was crazy, right?
Yes.
And you had responded back how?
Hey, Faith, thank
I don't know
you.
if you're crazy, but what you're telling me is not true.
Wow.
After you told her that her beliefs were not true, did that sort of end your talking with her?
Yes.
Thanks, Faith. Thank you so much. That is a long time, girl. I miss you too. I know. I was just talking about you the other day. I'm like, I know Faith's okay because I asked and people said they saw you around, so I know you're okay. But I'm like, I haven't seen you forever. Come around, girl.
You were asked if you personally saw, heard your sister Lori conspire to kill Charles.
I know.
Were you there that morning?
No.
I know.
Were you
You're
the
right.
person who was supposed to, though, be with Alex on the 10th into the morning of the 11th? You spent the night with him?
If I would have spent the night with him, yes.
So that stood out to you because you had made plans with your brother, right?
Yes.
And instead, you learned he was at Lori's house.
Yes.
You told us that you thought it was odd that your brother would be over at your sister's house at 7:30 in the morning.
Yes.
We missed you
And
too.
you were aware that your brother had guns.
Yes.
Charles was going there to pick up JJ, right?
Yes.
And so did it seem odd to you that your brother would bring a gun that was loaded with extra magazines that was not safe to your sister's house where JJ was?
Objection, out of scope. This is not
Goes
just
to
a
the conspiracy.
redirect. This is not just a redirect.
Hey, I didn't ask for argument. Okay. The objection's overruled.
Oh my God, you guys, you should have been in the courtroom when that happened. Oh my God. All this going back, and all of a sudden you just hear the judge say, hey. Oh my God. Everybody just looked at each other. Oh my God. I totally could not believe that. It was. I could not. Can you believe? I got to hear that again. Holy cow. That was crazy. Hey. Oh my Lanta, that was wild. She doesn't have any witnesses. She doesn't. I don't care what she has on her list. Nobody has been approved. Nobody, 2 people have been served, but that has gone squirrely, not correctly. Exactly right. I know. Oh my God, I cannot believe it. I had these really cool people sitting next to me. I met these 2 sisters. They were sitting on this side of me, and a mother and daughter was sitting on this side of me. And every time I turned, that mother just kept looking over at me and was like, oh my God. This part was the best. I cannot believe he said, hey. Oh my God. That was wild.
Just a redirect.
I want to hear that.
Charles was going there to pick up JJ, right?
Yes.
And so did it seem odd to you that your brother would bring a gun that was loaded with extra magazines that was not safe to your sister's house where JJ was?
Objection, out of scope. This is not
Goes
just
to
a
the conspiracy.
redirect. This is not just a redirect.
Hey, same ask for argument. Okay. The objection's overruled.
What's the question?
Sure. Did it stand out to
Oh my
you
God, I have to clip that.
that
That
your
was
brother-
freaking awesome.
who knew JJ would bring a loaded gun and extra ammunition to the house where JJ was running around?
I gotta get the timestamp.
Well,
It wasn't-
I didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
You're saying afterwards?
Yeah, you learned afterwards your brother killed him, right?
Yes.
And we're talking about this conspiracy and things that are going on. Did that seem odd to you that your brother would bring a loaded gun and extra ammunition in this unsafe way to a house where your, sister's son, JJ, lived?
Yeah, it seems extreme.
When you were talking to your family after this happened, did you actually tell them that you believed that Lori and Alex had conspired to kill Charles?
Yes.
Why was that?
Because Lori had told people that Charles was no longer living, that some guy named Ned was inside of his body, that there was a zombie living inside of him. And Alex didn't respond to any of my text messages when I was supposed to be with him. And he was at that house that morning. Lori talking crazy about how she's a translated being. All these things all added up into that moment and that morning. Once I found out on Saturday that Charles was shot and killed, no doubt in my mind that they killed him. That's a feeling that I got.
And you told your family that?
Yes.
No other questions?
Wow.
The last line of questioning from the possession of the gun on, I think the defendant's right, was technically beyond the scope of her cross. So based on that, I'll allow the defendant, if she wants to recross on those issues, if she elects to, may do so now.
She is a nut. I know. That totally was wild. Like, I cannot even believe I just heard the judge. Hey,
No questions, Your Honor.
like a
All right, are
parent,
there any
right?
questions from any member of the jury? Not seeing any, sir, you can step down. You can step down. State can call its next witness.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, right then, though, that is when I was very teared up earlier. I was teared up that whole thing. But when he walked off, the look on him literally made me it just hurt my heart. And Rex got up and went around and met up with them to leave. I loved seeing so much support for each other there. Like, she doesn't get to just win, you know? She can't break them. They're going to be okay. It's hard. It's hard. Yes, right. Yeah, like a child. I am not kidding. And you see how, like, he couldn't even help it. He couldn't even help it because he's very patient. And it was just very sharp and quick. Hey, I freaking love it. I'm like, oh, my Lanta. But she does this stuff. You know, she carries on and on. She has conversations with people. It's so annoying. This one is, I don't know. I don't know. The next three witnesses, two of them, literally, I don't know how I stayed awake. I don't. Because I'm not going to lie, I did not. I mean, I was doing everything I could to not nod off. Once I got my blanket and I was warm, I was. It is better. It is better. They talk now. Right. Who was the other day? I think it was Nate Eaton said he saw him without the robe on, and he said he's a pretty hip guy. No, it is better, sis. But there's probably always going to be that little bit. She has not one person there supporting her. Not one. There are people sitting on that side, of course. Those are, spectators, I guess, right? Because you don't know where to sit. You just get to get a place, right? And it doesn't matter. Like I said, nobody there, not one person is there supporting her, not one. And you got to figure, it's not even like, it's one thing maybe when she was in Boise and her family wasn't even, geographically right there, right? Her family's here. So, okay, I'm going to fast forward through. Honestly, this was kind of painful. The only thing is I just want to show a little bit of Lori going at it with this woman, which was just so dumb. I'm not trying to put anybody down, whatever. These, a lot of people that were involved with this woman didn't understand, I'm pretty sure that nobody says, oh, this really nice woman I met at the church is a fucking serial killer, right? It's probably not the way that's happening. But if I'm honest, if we really are honest about this, the reality is, look at her friends. They're not really bright people. And that's not that surprising. Seriously, she's annoying, right? And she talks to people like she didn't just kill people. Stop it. I don't care. Whatever I did, okay? Let's not go there. I've killed no one. Okay, so, and these are like her people that were in her life. The shit she says here, though, it actually makes me laugh a little bit. But this was honestly painful. It really was. To me, this was not helpful. All it is just another person to tell the same thing about the stupid shit that she was saying. Well, and that's what people say about the friend that was up there yesterday. And I mean, I can't deny, she's a serial killer. So, yeah. And that's why I say when you're in the courtroom and you actually can see her, you could actually just walk up and touch her. If I were a weirdo, it's not that they would handle it, but I could actually even get to her you're that close to somebody, and you're that much in the presence of evil, of pure evil. It kind of makes you feel a little bit weird. I don't doubt it. But I just got to tell you, you know what? See, she thinks she's very charming. She's very manipulative. Gaslights the fuck out of everybody. I think she invented that word. But she is not anybody I would have ever been able to just hang out with. I'm just being completely honest. Not just because I know what she did. I don't like people who act like that. Because there are people who act like that don't kill people, right? I don't like that kind of behavior. That's irritating as a freaking rash to me. But this stuff. Oh, I will tell you, Queen, somebody sitting next to me today said, because I'm like, I can't see anything. If anything I wanted to see, I had to just keep on moving around. not trying. The woman in front ahead of me had beautiful hair. It's actually really pretty, but I got to tell you, I couldn't see shit around her. But somebody I was talking about, you know, I was like, God, can you see this? And I kept kind of trying to pop up a little bit, and somebody was like, I got a good shot at that good looking judge. Made me think of Queen. So yeah, she really goes, I mean, but to me, this really wasn't helpful. I mean, it just wasn't. There was a lot of stuff that just wasn't that helpful today. I mean, it was wild. There were 3 people that I could literally feel like they could have just not had them there. I mean, I just don't think they provided much. And 2 that were just absolutely, literally emotionally draining. And said a lot. Look what he just said. He just is telling them, I know they did this. You know? That's pretty big. So yeah, I just listen to a minute of Lori going after her because it's just wild, actually. I know we went to lunch and the prosecution wasn't even done with her. And I was like, oh my God, I don't even think that she's helpful. I mean, if I hadn't been waiting for Kay and I wasn't even sure if Kay was coming, as cold as I was at lunch, if I hadn't found a blanket like I did, I don't know. Because this woman wasn't doing it for me at all. But this is actually just funny, in my opinion.
Multiple women, but I actually don't remember who was there. I think Melanie Gibb was there, and then a few other ladies, but I actually don't remember who.
And her voice does annoy me.
And do you recall,
FYI.
Was still that same time frame of like either the end of July or the beginning of August?
Yes.
Oh shit! I thought I got past that.
Can you describe for us Lori's demeanor at this meeting, this gathering at her house?
I would assume, like, in my estimation, it was more like stoic. I didn't see any like mourning or crying.
Oh, okay. That part I see.
After that contact with Lori, did you ever see her again?
No,
Did you know that she had moved out of state?
no, not till long after she already had.
Did you
I know
know
that.
that she had married Chad Daybell?
Nope.
Right.
So basically, after paying your condolences, that was sort of the end of your contact friendship with Lori Vallow?
Yes, I think there might have been a few texts after that just to check up on her and see how she was doing. She had just forward in courtroom today.
Okay, this is funny. This actually is funny. I can't help it. Everybody was like, "What the F is going on?"
Ms. Sharp, did you take an oath when you came into this courtroom today?
Yes, I did.
Did you raise your hand?
Yes, I did.
Did you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, I did.
The whole truth?
Yes.
Nothing but the truth?
Yes.
So help you who?
God.
So can we agree that this court acknowledges that your testimony here today will be accountable to God?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to the relevance of this.
Sustained.
Your Honor, they brought up the religion.
Ask for a response. It's sustained. Ask the next question.
Do you believe that your testimony here will be
See
accountable?
what I mean? See. You just can't even make it up. Oh my God. Oh my God. I was laughing. I was like, oh, wow. As much as I act like I was reacting, I wasn't reacting enough that like I would get, you know, I didn't get in any trouble. Honestly, though, they allow kind of a lot of nonsense in here. I'm not going to lie. Even on the prosecution side, in my opinion, they allow a lot of shit to go on. There again, if Lori had a real attorney, there is a lot of stuff that should be or could very easily be objected to. Because wait till Kay comes on. It's very good, but they literally just let run on and run on and run on and run on. Well, I don't know who would have gotten in trouble after the hay, because everybody in that room reacted. This is wild, though. Like, she's batshit. No, I hate to say she's crazy, because she's not. She's very aware of what she's doing. I don't mean to say she's crazy in the way that she is not responsible. She's just a whack job from hell. That's what I'm saying. I don't care anything about her. This is not somebody I could have spent time with. She would have drove me freaking nuts. It's not in any way anything I'm trying to be around. Killing people or not. Yeah, I did too. I did too. I know. I know. Yeah, we're going to get over there in just a second. Yeah, that was rough.
Accountable to God.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Sharp, how many times did we meet in person?
4.
How many one-on-one conversations during those meetings do you think that we actually had? Just you and me. Nobody else around. Just you and me.
Maybe 2.
2 conversations in our whole lives.
Maybe
Just me
3.
and you.
You said during those meetings.
During the 4 times that we saw each other in person,
Hmm.
how many times did you and I have a one-on-one conversation where other people were not in the conversation? Just me and you.
So combative.
I can remember 3.
Okay. And how many times did we communicate on the phone?
Do you want me to estimate? I don't remember how many times.
Sure, just an estimate.
I'm not sure how to estimate that. Multiple times?
Like more than 10 or less than 10?
Probably more than 10.
More than 20?
I don't remember.
Okay. And text messages, the same. How many times do you think that we conversed via text?
I don't know. I'm not sure how to answer that again.
Okay, so
Multiple times.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that some of the things that you remember are from other people and not actually from me to you directly?
Perhaps.
Okay. So in the instance when you said that I mentioned to you something about zombies, I would like to know what I said to you exactly verbatim about zombies.
Well, I remember we talked about zombies.
Under oath, I said the word zombies at that meeting, or I'll go with that.
To the best of my recollection, it was that weekend during the girls' weekend, 2019.
And
Again, that was 6 years ago.
Look at Lori's posture right there. Like, she is just like she's pit. And if you notice, look the way she talked when Dr. Colby. She's trying so hard to back out of this zombie thing. Okay, the fact is, way too many people said you said it. You and man tits, okay? You did. You just did. But it really matter if you call them zombies or you call them freaking twinkle toes. You killed them, okay? That's really the point here. she has got this hang up on this damn zombie thing. This guy, she gets weird with that shit, if you ask me. The problem, who cares what the hell you called everybody? The problem is that you killed them, okay? Jeez.
So like verbatim, I don't remember verbatim, but I think it was that weekend.
So it could have been that someone else was talking to you about zombies, but I was actually there also. Is that correct?
I'm going to object that the witness has answered that question and said it was her.
Overruled, she can answer.
Would you mind restating, please?
Is it possible that someone else said the word zombie and not me at that meeting when we were all there with the girls?
It's possible, but I don't think it was. I think
Okay,
it
then
was
what
you.
did I say exactly about zombies? I want to know the sentence I said to you about zombies.
Hold on.
Again,
Ask questions, okay?
I
make
object to
statements.
asked and answered.
So rephrase your question.
What sentence did I say to you with the word zombie in it?
I'm going to object to asked and answered.
Technically, it has been asked and answered, but go ahead and answer.
Again, I don't remember verbatim. That was what, 6 years ago?
So it could be possible that it really never came out of my mouth. Is that true?
Okay, I'm going to object again to asked and answered now a third time.
Sustained.
Ms. Sharp, who are the three Nephites in the Book of Mormon?
Oh my God.
The three Nephites? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
In 3rd Nephi 28, the three Nephites, do you know who they are?
I
Off the top
know.
of my head? No.
You do not know who they are.
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay. In the Bible, do you know of John the Revelator?
Yes.
Do you know of John the Revelator being translated?
I don't remember that, but
You don't remember that? What about in the Old Testament, Elijah? Was he translated?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to relevance.
What's the relevance?
I've been accused of being out of the scope of the LDS religion when this is exactly in the scope of the LDS religion.
All right, I guess
Okay, so you've been accused of being out of the scope of the LDS religion. By who? Who accused you of that? This is about murder right here, okay? This is about conspiring to kill your husband. This trial has nothing to do with if you're out of the scope of the LDS religion. Again, all of these things, zombie, translated beings, whatever. I don't know the LDS religion myself. I'm not trying to know it. I don't know religions that you kill people. But this here is not about, I can't believe she got by with even saying that. I do think that a lot of nonsense gets to go on in this courtroom. I'm not gonna lie. Because really, Your Honor, I have been accused. But what? That has to do with I can't.
just to the extent you're comparing yourself to these biblical figures, I'll allow it.
You're comparing
was
yourself.
Elisha translated? Yes, I believe so.
You're comparing yourself to these biblical figures. Oh my. You cannot make this shit up. I got to put that timestamp down. That is too much. I cannot. You are comparing yourself to these biblical figures. Oh my Atlanta.
Okay. But you don't know that John the Revelator was translated as well?
I can't remember.
And then the three Nephites in the Book of Mormon, they're translated as well?
Unreal.
No, there were three. You asked me their names. I don't remember their
I
names.
wasn't asking their names. I said, do you know who they are? As in, are you aware of them? I'm sorry. I'll be more specific. Are you aware of the three Nephites in the Book of Mormon?
Yes.
That they were translated?
Yes.
So is it fair to say that that isn't uncommon in the Christian belief system to believe in people being translated?
I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that question for all of Christianity.
Okay. Are you a Christian that believes in the Bible?
Yes.
Object, Your Honor, to relevance.
I'll allow it briefly, but hurry up and make your point.
That made me laugh. I'll allow it briefly, but hurry up. Hello, Erica. Oh, good night, Kentucky woman. Oh, this is too much, man. We're going to be done with this in a second. That voice actually was irritating to me. I'm not going to lie.
Yes, I believe in the Bible. Of course.
And Elijah, the Bible is translated, right?
Yes.
And you believe in that, right?
Yes.
And you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Is that correct?
Correct.
So that would not be out of the scope of what you believe. That's all I'm asking.
Correct.
Okay. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
See, a conversation, again, that shouldn't be allowed.
So when we were having this girls' weekend, what else did we do besides one prayer?
I remember going out to lunch,
Mhm.
and we went to the temple and we did service projects.
So we had a typical fun girls' weekend
Yes.
with 5 minutes of a prayer.
I don't remember how long that prayer was.
But basically, out of the 72 hours that we got together, 5 minutes of it we spent actually praying.
Again, I don't remember how long the prayer was, but that was not, from my perspective, the focus or majority of our time spent.
Okay. How long would you say that prayer was? 10 minutes? Longer?
I don't recall.
Okay. But a tiny portion of our whole fun weekend, right?
It was a small portion. Yes.
Okay.
So what? Yeah, let's get
I didn't know.
Your Honor, again, I'm going to ask that the defendant be told not to comment about the questions and testify.
Yes, the jury should disregard that comment after the answer.
She does it all the time. She does it all the time.
Are you still in contact with Zulema Pastenes?
No, I haven't had contact with her in a while.
Are you in contact with Kay Woodcock?
Who? I'm sorry.
Kay Woodcock?
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
See, right there. You know what? How about none of your business? I mean, again, okay, I don't think we need to listen to any more of that. Okay, this lady literally almost, I do not have any idea why they even had her on there. I have no idea what she said that meant anything to anybody. So I'm going to get on with Kay. You know, other than going back and forth with Lori, there was really nothing to that woman. Which was comical to a degree. Yeah, it's totally crazy. Like, who would want to have a girls' weekend with that voice and Lori? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd have been out very quick. That's not my girls' weekend. Not at all. And I will be very honest, I actually always have fun. No matter what I do, I always have fun. And if it's a girls' weekend, straight up having fun. That could not have been fun. Pretty sure about that. Now this is...
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Kay Woodcock. Charles Vallow's younger sister.
How old are you?
How old am I today?
Today.
64.
And are you married?
Yes.
Where do you currently live?
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
I want to talk to you about your siblings. You told us that you are Charles's sister. How many siblings were there in your family?
What I want to say very quickly, though, you know, if anybody familiar with this situation, you know, this is a third trial, and you know, it's been a lot with all of this. One thing I will say about Kay is she has been very, very strong, super strong. I think the world of her and her husband, Larry. I think a whole lot of both of them. But her husband, he's the one who is very emotional. I think that her testimony today could and probably should have, in all rights, have had a lot of objections. But Lori's not a lawyer, and she didn't object. But this was a different side of Kay that we have not seen during all of this. It was very emotional.
Uh, 6.
And where did Charles fall into that?
He was number 3.
Who are the other siblings?
My oldest sister, Terry, then my next sister, Susan, then Charles, then Jerry, then me, then Bobby.
And where did you guys grow up?
We're in Lake Charles.
Were you close with your brother?
Yes, I was.
Did you know his wife, Lori Vallow?
Yes, I do.
Can you point her out in the courtroom and tell us what she's wearing?
She's the defendant over there in the black jacket.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant.
Michelle.
I want to talk to you sort of about Lori and Charles. Were you at their wedding?
No, they went to Las Vegas.
Do you recall what year they got married?
2006.
Did they have a reception that?
I don't know if that's what you'd call it, but there was a family gathering in March of 2006 at a ranch in near Austin, Texas, that we all went to.
Okay, kind of to celebrate that.
Yes.
Had your brother Charles been married before?
Yes.
Did he have any children from his prior marriage?
Yes.
How many?
2.
And who were they?
Cole Vallow and Zach Vallow.
And did you know if Lori had any children from a prior marriage?
Yes. Colby Ryan and Tylee Ryan.
When Lori and Charles got married, did Charles's 2 sons live with them?
Live with Charles and Lori?
Yeah.
No.
Did they stay with their
I
mother?
love
Yes, they did. They visited, but they never lived there.
Where were they? Was that in Arizona or still in Texas?
In Austin.
I want to ask you sort of some of the ages of the children involved. In July of 2019, was Tylee still a minor?
Yes.
So she was still living with them.
But you are right. I will say this. I don't know. Somebody said it earlier. The jury has got to be saying to themselves, where is Tylee? Where is JJ? What? Like, they've got to be confused. But I want to also tell you this. During Kay's testimony during this time, this jury was they were listening so intently, like they literally were scooted up, like big time. She does look good, huh? Good to see you, Legs. She does. She looks really good. That was good to see. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to go to the restroom and be right back. But this was actually really good.
Yes.
In July of 29, do you know if Colby was still a minor?
Yes. Oh, wait, no, Colby was not.
He was an adult.
He was an adult.
And in July of 2019, were Charles's 2 sons, Cole and Zach, still minors or adults?
They were adults.
Okay. Did Charles and Lori have any children together?
They adopted my grandson, JJ.
And can you tell us how that worked out?
How that worked out,
Or
meaning
how did they get involved in adopting your grandchild?
Charles approached me about it one day. He called, and I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on then, and that was my son's child, and there was a lot going on. So I just told him then, look, I can't make a decision like that. We don't know how this is going to go. Just, well, just keep it in mind. And so I kept it in mind.
And do you recall, when did they adopt JJ?
It was final in July of 2014.
Did JJ have any special needs?
Yes, he was autistic, and he was born 10 weeks premature.
So he took a little extra care.
He did, absolutely.
Do you recall, so if he was 2 and they adopted him, how old was he in July of 2019?
He was 7. We spent his 7th birthday together in Lake Charles.
So in July of 2019, to your knowledge, Lori and Charles still had 2 children under the age of 18 with them, Kylie and JJ?
Yes,
So if in July of 2019, Lori Vallow was saying she had 5 kids she was taking care of, you were unaware of the other 3?
there were not 5 there. No, there were 2.
Can you tell us about the relationship between Charles and JJ?
Charles was the best dad. I mean, he was always doting on him. The arrangement I figured out eventually was that if Charles was working out of town, Lori had him all by herself. And so when Charles got back to town, JJ was his to take care of 100%.
Would Charles bring JJ to visit your side of the family in Louisiana?
Oh, yes.
Did you regularly see him?
Yes. Once JJ learned how to fly, and excuse me, I need water.
Sure.
Once JJ learned how to fly, and that because he was autistic, something like that is a big deal for him, and he loved it. So he was a little flyer. He loved to go in the airplane.
What did your brother Charles do for a living?
He sold annuities. He was a financial planner.
And how long did you know him to do that?
If I had to guess, 20 years, I guess.
Did he work for others or have his own business? What do you recall?
He had his own business.
Had he previously any times ever worked for others?
Yes.
But in July of 2019, he had his own business.
Yes.
Did he have a business partner?
He did. Yes.
Did his job require him to travel a lot?
He did. He would be gone 3 or 4 days a week on average. Sometimes he didn't have to travel, but he was he would be gone 3 or 4 days a week when he would be working.
I want to ask you a little bit about Charles. Was he sort of a meticulous person when it came to paperwork?
Oh, yes. I mean, for when you're doing that type of work, you have to be meticulous and methodical, and you can't make any errors. You can't miss a dot or crossing a T because it will get kicked back to you, and then it just causes a lot of delay and a lot of trouble. So he was actually, he said, there was never anybody I've ever trusted to do this for me. And I was like, well, I'll do it for you because
All right, we'll stop here.
yeah.
So when Charles was working as financial planner, do you know if he had Lori help him with any part of his job?
I don't really know exactly what she did, but yes.
Okay.
But I don't know what she did.
Prior to Charles being a financial advisor, did he have a very different career in sports?
Oh, he was, he quit. I don't remember because I was quite young then, but he did, I believe he was drafted in the early 70s into the Houston Astros minor league.
So when you were growing up, did you see your brother playing baseball?
I was raised at a baseball field. If it wasn't Charles, Jerry played for years, my other brother, but Charles stuck with it, and that's how he got to college with a degree, with a scholarship.
See, I just want you to think about that, okay? I don't have any idea what life was like with them when they grew up. They seemed to be a close family. But he was successful. He got a scholarship. had an education and was successful. And by everybody, as many people as have said that Lori said zombie and they were dark and this and that, way too many people that don't even talk to each other said that, whether they said it on testimony or not, because again, we all know there are many people that have not been in a courtroom that should be in a courtroom involved with this situation. But as many people who said that stuff, that many people said how generous and what a good man he was. He was very much not confrontational. Colby said the way that Lori speaks to this judge is the way that she spoke to Charles, that she belittled him. She talked hatefully or, ugly to him. And he was not an ugly person. We've seen him talking to the police, begging the police for help because he knew she was going to do what she did. But can you believe that? Like, it just really, this part, I don't know why, for some reason, when Kay said this part right here, you just thought to yourself, wow. Many of her family members were on his phone plan, did a lot for them. Like, it just, she was paying for man tits to do all kinds of shit with his money. I mean, it's just galling. It just, and to be set up and killed like that, it's just beyond. I don't know. It all just really.
So you get stuck many a night and a weekend having to be at the ball field with your brother.
Yes.
What position did your brother play?
He was a pitcher. He was very, very good. He was a left-handed pitcher, and they're very hard to hit against.
Okay. Did he bat right or left-handed?
He was left-handed.
Did he do everything left-handed?
Yes.
Left-handed? After your brother.
Lori was shaking her head during this time. Not big time shaking her head, but I knew this part was pissing her off, so I totally did what I could to see her, and she was shaking her head.
Well, let me ask you, do you know how long he played in the semi-pro?
I don't. He had moved to Houston, and but he blew out his knee, and that's ended that right there.
Did your brother stay in shape after that, even though he blew out his knee?
Oh yes, he was always doing something. Always bike riding, hiking, just anything. Gym, all he was very active.
So every time you saw him, he was taking care of himself.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a little bit about religion. Did your family grow up in the LDS church or faith?
No, we did not.
Did you know Charles to ever convert to the LDS faith?
He did at some point during his marriage to Lori.
Okay. When Lori and Charles were married, did they always live in one state or did they move?
No, they lived here in Phoenix, in the Phoenix area, Chandler, Gilbert, and then they moved to Hawaii in 2014, and then they moved back late 2016 or early 2017.
Back to?
Oh, back here to Phoenix area.
Do you recall where they were, what state they were in when they met?
When Charles and Lori met,
Yeah.
they were in Texas.
Texas, okay. In 2018 and 19, you told us that Charles and JJ would come visit you and the family regularly.
Yes.
In March of 2018, did you have a member of your family pass away?
Yes, my mother did in March of 18.
Did Charles come out for that?
Yes, he did. He was there for her services. Lori was not, and we felt like something was going on. Well, actually, my husband felt it before I did, and And then when she didn't show for my mother's funeral, I just thought that was just appalling. It appalled me that she wouldn't even come to something like that with her husband.
What was your relationship like with Lori?
Because of the work I did, the company we owned, I was on the phone an extreme amount of time, all the time. So I really don't like to call people. I'm not a phone person. I'll text you all day long, but I really don't like to talk. And so Lori and I never really had a big phone relationship. It was a text here and there, but mostly Charles would keep me up to date as to different things that were going on, or what they were up to, or Charles would call. Yeah, Charles would call me mostly.
So it sounds like you weren't close with her.
When Lori and I were together, it was like we hadn't missed a minute. We just took up where we left off, and she's very outgoing, and she's very friendly and very easy to talk to, and so we got along rather well, and I loved her.
Okay. So continuing in 2018, do you recall seeing Charles and JJ coming out to visit you guys in October of 2018?
Yes.
What was that for?
Just a weekend visit.
Okay. What about in November of 2018? Did you see Charles and JJ then?
We did. My husband and myself and my granddaughter, we went to Las Vegas, and Charles and JJ met us there for the Thanksgiving holiday weekend. I thought that was odd. He wasn't with his family. He said Lori was sick, or Tylee was sick, is what he told us. But he just wouldn't share what all was going on at that point. Then when he finally did, he unloaded it all.
So in 2018, did you have any idea there were any? Let me say this. In 2018, did you have some concerns about their relationship?
Yes, it was, for him to come as often as they were coming was odd, and he was just unsettled, and we knew something was going on, but he would never say.
Okay. So
he talked to us when he was ready.
When we get into 2019, did you start to see your brother more?
Yes.
First, without going into what Charles said, did you ever become aware finally that his marriage with Lori was in trouble?
Yes, I did.
In 2019, again, without going into what Charles said, did you ever believe that Charles was concerned for his safety?
Charles was absolutely concerned for his safety. Lori had sent me a text, I think it was on a Thursday, that she and Charles were fighting because of some stuff she came up with, and that she and JJ and Tylee were at a hotel. Well, I guess Tylee was, I'm not sure. And
I love the way she says
she
that.
didn't want to have any fighting, so they went to a hotel. And I came out. I knew Charles the next day. That's when she sent it to me, and then I just really didn't call Charles. I knew he'd call me, and he sure enough did, and he was a mess. And so I flew out the next day out here to help him with JJ, and just to come and talk to him and see what was going on. He was alone, and Lori's family turned their backs on him and JJ. Okay.
Let's just kind of break it all down.
All right.
Now you got a lot that you remember. So you said that
He does let a lot
you got
go
a
on,
text
right?
from
You guys-
Lori indicating that she and JJ and Tylee were at a hotel.
Mhm.
And then you said that Charles then called you maybe the next day.
Yeah.
And you came out here to Arizona.
Yes.
When you came out here to Arizona, did you become aware at that point that there was a big problem now with their relationship?
There was a huge problem now with their relationship.
And during this time when you had come out here, do you remember approximately when that was?
It's like the 1st of February of 2019, or the 2nd. It was right in there.
When you,
I got to tell you guys, so at this time, it was really getting towards the end of the day. And the people I was talking to in there, we all kind of felt like this wasn't going to end today. It was surprising that this ended today. But I want to play this because there is information here that I had never heard before. And it's really huge, in my opinion. And if you guys saw the jurors behaved, their whole demeanor was different. They were listening all day, I felt it, but they were listening so intently to this, so much. They were hunched over, like they were very involved in this.
came out here, did you then speak with Charles about his concerns for his safety? Just yes or no?
About his what?
His concerns for his safety.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's just yes. Is this the time where, well, let me ask it this time. When you came out here, did you see Lori?
No,
When you came out here, did anyone know where Lori was?
no, nobody was talking about where she was. Nobody would tell Charles where she was.
So your brother was trying to find where she was?
Yes, he was.
Where was JJ at this time?
He was with Charles, and that's one of the reasons I came out was to help him with JJ, because he was quite a handful, and Charles was a mess. He was broken. He was a broken-hearted man.
So you come out here, Charles has JJ. Where's Tylee? Do you know?
She's, as far as we knew, she was staying at Lori's brother's. That's what we knew then.
Did you have any interaction with her?
No.
How long did Charles have JJ where he's looking for Lori and can't find her?
Well, that portion of the time was 58 days, and I knew how many days it was because every day Charles would say something. He would tell me.
So he was counting them.
He would count them.
Were you out here the whole time? What'd you do?
I could work remotely at the time, so I did stay out here a lot, often, but I would fly back. I was back and forth between Louisiana and here from February until the end of March, because at that point we moved Charles to Houston.
So the end of March, you said you were moving Charles to Houston. Was that with JJ?
Yes,
Why are you helping him move to Houston?
because Charles told me that Lori did not want JJ anymore, or Tylee, or him. And I said, okay, well, look, what if you move to Houston and I'll be 2.5 hours away. And when you go out of town, I'll come and stay with JJ. And so he was talking about hiring a nanny. And I said, no, I will be the nanny, and I'll come and take care of him when you have to work. And it's easy enough. And you won't have to pay a penny.
So when Charles has JJ, you're helping take care of JJ in this time period in February, March.
Yes.
What about Charles's business? Did you help with that at all?
Yes. I had to get my arms around the whole thing. All the payments that needed to be made, the accounts, the emails, all that stuff you have to change over and change the password and all that. So Lori couldn't access it any longer.
You said you had your own job. What were you doing at that time in addition to helping your brother?
My husband and I owned a coastal crew change. It was a transportation company for the offshore oil and gas and LNG industry.
Okay. So you're trying to work that job and help Charles with his business.
Yes, I had a really great assistant who helped me an awful lot.
Do you remember when you were packing up to move Charles to Houston?
Yes.
You there?
I was there.
Did Lori show back up?
She did. I was in the pantry in the kitchen, packing up the pantry, and I don't know what, just something caught my attention, and I walked out, and she was standing there. She had her back to me. Charles was sitting at the table on his phone, and he obviously didn't realize that she was there. And then finally, when he hung up, he looked up, and there she was, and he started crying, and she started yelling
Do you recall what she was yelling about?
that, why did you take JJ? Why did you take JJ? Why did you take him out of school? Why are you moving? What are you doing? All this is your fault. It was just ridiculous.
So she'd been gone for 58 days, leaving,
No contact whatsoever.
and then she shows up at the house when you guys are moving out.
Yeah.
What was
Can you imagine
Charles's,
what the
like, demeanor
crazy-
reaction? You said he was crying?
He was at first, but then he was just
That's weird.
Charles was a very soft-spoken man, and he was just trying to get a word in edgewise. And finally, Lori settled down a little bit, and they went and they talked for a while in the living room, or the I guess it's like a great room, and then they moved to the bedroom to talk. And I could still hear every now and then Lori would get a little loud, but they were talking. And then I remember that Lori came. Let's see, I was sitting at the dining table, and she stood next to me, and she said, "I love you, KK." And I said, "Well, I love you too. I'm sorry this is happening." And she cried, and I didn't know what to do, really. So, I mean, I just was there. And then she walked off, and the next day she came. I don't know who came, but they got Kylie's belongings out of the casita where all of Kylie's belongings were. And I don't remember if she got anything of hers. I really don't remember.
So are we now talking at the end of March, beginning of April of 2019, when Charles is moving back to Houston?
Yeah.
Did he bring JJ with him?
Yes. Well, in order for me and Charles to move in, Larry, I flew out here and brought JJ back to Louisiana with me. And then my husband, Larry, kept him for a week while I flew back here to help Charles pack and then drive back to Houston.
All right, so you guys rented a big truck and drove it?
He drove the U-Haul. I drove his pickup.
All right. When you and Charles got to Houston, then did your husband bring JJ back?
Yes, he did.
Through all of this time with Charles, when he was looking for Lori while she was gone for those 58 days, did he still want Lori to be part of JJ's life?
He did. He did. He never was trying to take that away from Lori, even though Lori didn't want him anymore. I still didn't. I never really understood that, but I guess he was just hoping for the best. But yes, he absolutely wanted her to be part of his life, Lori's life.
So once Charles moved to Houston, did Lori ever also move out there?
I don't know if you call it moved out there, but she did. She came that day on March 28th. Charles said, "Look, we're moving to Houston. You're welcome to come. I'll fly you out Sunday." And she said, "No, I'm busy. I have a project," or something she was doing in Hawaii. She said, "It'll be about 2 weeks and I'll be in Houston." So whatever she did, she was gone for 2 weeks, 2 more weeks. It was a total of 7.
See, the way she tries to make Charles look so bad. How are you back and forth from Hawaii and all? Who doesn't have any responsibilities? Who has the money to just go run amok and pay for man tits to do all kinds of shit? I mean, I got to tell you, a woman to use her husband's money on her lover is just one of the most despicable things. I mean, I'm very much not okay with people who behave, who cheat. I say get a divorce and do your thing. I'm not down with that. But how absolutely disgusting for a man to work hard and provide well for his family, and for that woman to use that money to spend it on, well, herself, a lavish lifestyle, and cheat and spend it on a worthless man tits that doesn't provide for anybody. I mean, everything about this is so freaking disgusting. I can't. Ugh.
72 days, I believe she was going all together. And then she was there. She and Tylee moved in at Charles's, and Charles said that she slept in JJ's room with him.
So the first 2 weeks when Charles and JJ are in Houston without Lori, were you ever there to help with JJ or Charles's business?
No, Lori was there. I mean,
I guess
JJ was.
before she moved there, the 2 weeks.
I think.
Or did
No,
you?
I had to go home for a little while, but Charles came like the weekend. And, so if I wasn't here, he was there.
So once you drove him there, you may have stayed to help him and then you went home.
Yeah.
And you weren't there when Lori came to Houston.
No.
You told us that you had been helping your brother with his business. And I think you'd said something about changing passwords.
Yeah.
Was that to different financial accounts?
Right. Credit card, bank, stuff like that. Yeah. The password to Google, the password to,
All the things you use for business.
Yes.
And so when you started helping him, you had changed a lot of those passwords.
Yes.
At some point, did you become aware or at some point, did Charles stop asking you to help him with the business?
He did. And that's when Lori came back.
Okay. Now, you said that your brother worked in annuities, right?
Yes.
Right? That last part of the time when you were working with him up through sort of the end of March, beginning of April, were you aware of Charles coming into a large amount of money?
He was receiving an annuity. What do you call it? I can't think of the word right now, but he was receiving like $125,000 check for his commission for annuities. And Lori obviously knew that because she was there just a few days before that came into the bank, that was deposited into the bank. I had access to the bank, so I would watch that.
Okay. So even though Lori came back, you still had the passwords to look into Charles's account?
Yes.
Do you know how long Lori stayed in Texas with Charles?
It's like she wasn't there the entire time, but I mean, she was always traveling through May. I'll say towards the end of May. I'm not for sure exactly what day.
Okay. So at some point, a couple months later, you become aware that she has left Houston.
Yes.
Did you know where she went?
Yeah, she was back back here.
Did JJ come with her when she moved back here to Arizona?
He did.
And did you know, did your brother move back here?
No, he did not.
And with your access to the finances, were you aware whether or not Charles was paying for a house here in Arizona for Lori and JJ?
I really don't recall seeing that transaction. I really don't, but that, that doesn't mean it didn't happen. At that time, I was selling my company. And so I had a lot going on at that time. And that's when it was really getting, the due diligence. The company was.
Keep in mind, somewhere in all of this, her ex-husband, Tylee's dad, died of a heart attack. They had a very contentious relationship, a lot of fighting, a lot of squabbling over custody. It was not a good relationship at all. She was a beneficiary of that life insurance. Just keep that in mind. So spends whatever she wants of her husband, flying man tits back and forth from Idaho here. Hotels, whatever, all carbon, all of it. She also gets life insurance in the middle of all this. from Joseph Ryan. Just saying.
Doing their due diligence, so I had to provide a lot of information for them, and so it really was perfect timing because then I got super busy with my company, and I didn't have to deal with all of Charles's because Lori was back. Or
Let me ask you something else. Were you aware of when Charles met Lori, or they got married? Do you know if she worked?
she was a hairdresser. She did work as a hairdresser, and I don't know exactly when she quit working, but she didn't. I don't think she worked long. If she did, after they got married.
So for most of the time when you knew them to be married, you did not see her working outside the home.
No.
Did Charles, I guess, work so she could stay home with the kids?
Yes, he was fine with being a one income, letting her stay home, tend to the kids, and he would be the moneymaker.
Now, I know that we've talked about Charles working in the area of financial planning. Did you know if Charles had a life insurance policy?
Yes.
That's something that, how did you learn about that?
Well, I mean, he had told my husband Larry and I years ago, he helped us acquire $1 million life insurance policy for me and my husband each. And because he always had one and Lori had one. So that was nothing new or unusual to talk about.
Okay. At some point when you were helping Charles, when Lori had disappeared and Charles didn't know where she was, did you have a conversation with Charles about the beneficiary of his life insurance?
Yes. It was early February when I came here to help him with JJ, and he said, look, I'm going to take Lori off as beneficiary, and I'm going to put you as a beneficiary. And I was like, we talked about maybe a minute and a half about it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I really don't want to be that person, but okay. And I never followed up to see if he changed. I didn't know until I got the phone call after he was killed.
So the discussion you had of that change was during that time period when he couldn't find Lori, had no idea where he was, and he was taking care of JJ?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you were helping him take care of JJ.
Yes.
So if something had happened to Charles during that time when Lori wasn't around, would you have taken care of JJ?
Yes, he would have come back to me and my husband.
So I want to kind of go to right around that July time period. Do you recall when was the last time you saw your brother, Charles?
That's a good question. Probably must have been in June.
And do you recall where that was or the
I think he came to
circumstances?
Lake Charles for the weekend.
Did you see JJ then?
Yeah, no. The last time I saw JJ was May 18th.
When was the last time you recall speaking or texting with your brother, Charles?
He texted me the night before he was shot, and just, hey, I'm going to be in Phoenix tomorrow, and how's it going? And just a little short text, and I'm boarding the plane now, and I'll be back in Phoenix in a little bit. And then he told me a few other things he had planned, but that was not much, not a big deal.
Did
Nothing
you think
major.
he was going to Phoenix to just see JJ?
Yes.
Did you know anything about any type of intervention?
No, he never talked. If he did talk to me about it, and I'm pretty sure I would have remembered that. But no, I know that he and Adam was his confidant during that time, Lori's brother. And so I know that whatever he was doing, Adam was part of it. And, they were just, I knew he was in good hands with Adam, because Adam, they loved Charles, him and his wife.
Do you have any knowledge of Charles wanting to get a place here in Phoenix so he could be closer to JJ?
I don't remember that, but I can't remember that. I mean, I don't know.
No,
I can't
okay,
answer
that's okay. I talked to you then about, so you talked to your brother, just kind of normal stuff as he was, before he got here to Phoenix. Did you learn that your brother Charles was dead?
It was on July the 20th. I was at a nail salon in Lake Charles, my brother and I, and
I got to tell you, I never heard this story before. Jeffrey, I've never heard anything about, they said he's not coming here. I don't know where that's coming from, but I never heard this story about how she heard. What she ends up telling right here, I've never heard this stuff, and it was jaw-dropping to me. Literally unbelievable. Right, I was going to say, I don't think he's even coming here.
I got a call from his oldest son, Cole, and he said, "Hey, what is going on? I just got a text from Lori, and she said Dad's dead." And I said, "Wait, what did you just say?" And he told me again, and I said, "Something's wrong with that. That can't be true." And I said, "Have you tried to call her?" And Cole's like, "Yeah, she won't. I'm trying calling. She's not answering." He was freaking out, and I was like, "Okay, Cole, just give me a minute. Let me think about this. Let me see, and I'll call you back. I promise. As soon as I can figure this out." So I called my husband to tell him, and he said, "Okay, well, I told him that what the Cole said, and he said, "Hey, let me call you back in a minute." And so I was still at the nail salon trying to get out of there, and he called and he said, "He's dead." I Googled him, and he's dead. Alex killed him yesterday. And I mean, that was just like, it was horrible. I have to call my siblings and let them know. And everybody was just freaked out. I didn't know what to do. But I did call Cole back and let him know that it was true. And just was telling me, let's keep in touch. You find out something, I find out something, we'll let each other know. And
Did you try to reach out to Lori?
I've tried calling, texting Charles. I tried calling, texting Lori. And at some point she texted me, she returned a text, something like, "I'm having to deal with a lot of stuff and I'm busy." And she was too busy to even call his family to say that he was dead by her brother killing him. And
Take a breath. So you had tried to reach her and she was too busy to talk to you.
yeah,
Did you ever, what was the burial plans? Did you ever get Charles back? What happened with him?
we ended up calling a detective, the detectives in Chandler, since that's where it happened. And we were able to speak to a detective, I don't know who, but we told them that I had already arranged us a flight for the next day. We were here by noon Saturday because I needed to know where JJ was. I didn't know what he had seen. I didn't know what he knew. I knew he would be, I knew it wasn't good. But I couldn't, we had to talk to the detectives before I did anything with Lori. So, and we had to wait till Sunday to meet with Nate Moffitt. And then when we talked to him is when I told him about the life insurance policy. and that Lori, that I didn't know if Charles had ever changed it to me like he said he was going to do. And so I didn't know, but I just knew we had to get JJ because he was not safe with her.
Let me stop you there. I'm going to go back to Charles. Where was Charles buried, or where was what was done with his remains?
Well, this was before Lori knew she wasn't getting the money. She had him cremated, and he was mailed. He was FedEx or whatever over to my office, along with his Letterman's jacket from high school and a couple pair of cheap sunglasses and 1 or 2 watches. It was just a few little trinkets. And Charles had a watch collection, and she just sent some crap.
So she FedExed,
Can you
cremated
believe
him and
that?
FedExed him to you.
Yes,
I never
Sent him
heard
to your work office.
yes.
Unbelievable.
Now you're saying this is
It's so
before she
low.
learned the life insurance policy was not going to be, she was not going to be the beneficiary. Did you set up like a service for Charles? And
Yes, my family and I made arrangements for a memorial service to happen in Lake Charles on August the 3rd, which was, he was killed July 11th. So took us a little bit to put it together, but we did.
did you talk to Lori about having JJ come out for Charles's service?
I think the last time I talked to Lori was she told us that she wanted, I asked her, what can we do in Houston? I was trying to be nice because I knew she had something to do with his murder. And I'm not one that can just lie off the cuff. I'm a bad liar. And so
This was so good, you guys. The jurors were visibly so intensely listening to this. I cannot even express that enough. Can you believe she shipped him like that? Oh. There are not enough ugly, foul, nasty words for that woman. There just aren't.
when I did talk to her, and it was a long, awkward conversation I had with her, but I was like, what do you want us to do with that stuff at the house in Houston? But when we got to the house in Houston, and she did, yeah, y'all please go do what you want to do with it. See what Cole wants, y'all split it up. Y'all take it.
She gave you permission to go to the
Yes.
house in Houston and take whatever was there?
Yes. And when we got there, none of Charles's personal belongings were there. Nothing at all. And that I couldn't figure out why nothing of Charles's or JJ's was there. Or wait, nothing of Charles's was there. Just his business files and the big furniture, sofa, beds, stuff like that.
So you went there, you did that. How did you, and you told us that you did not
Incredible.
know for sure if your brother had ever changed the beneficiary from Lori to you. How did you find out if that was done?
I think it was the following week, a lady from Banner Life, that's where it's policy, who wrote the policy. A lady called and said that I was the beneficiary. I was the sole beneficiary, and what was our address, and she wanted to verify a few things and to send out the check.
When you got that call, did you ever have Lori confront you about the life insurance policy?
Did I ever have Lori what?
Yeah, did Lori ever confront you about being the beneficiary
Oh.
for Charles's life insurance policy?
Yes. She didn't call and do it. She sent me a text one night, a picture or two of a screenshot. She took a screenshot of the change of beneficiary form with my name on it. And she said something to the effect of 5 kids and his sister gets all the money, or is that why you want JJ? Something to that effect, which it made no sense. I want JJ, period. That was a dumb statement by her.
So let me ask you this. So she told you again that she was left with these 5 kids, right?
Yeah, 5 kids. She had Colby and Tylee and JJ. And
at that
Colby was
time-
out of the house, so it was just Tylee and JJ.
So she's messaging you this, saying how upset she is because she has 5 kids to take care of.
Yeah.
And then she tells you that, is this why you wanted JJ to come to Charles's service?
No, I had already gotten the okay from her to come get him. I was going to fly here, pick him up, go back to Louisiana, keep him for a week and attend so he could attend the service during that time. And when she found out when she found the change of beneficiary form, she said that she was too busy. They were moving to Hawaii, and it would be too confusing for JJ to come, and he needed to be with her.
So after she found out and had confronted you about that change of beneficiary where you are now getting Charles's life insurance policy, she changed her mind and refused to let JJ go to Charles's service. His
Yes.
dad's service. After this confrontation about Charles making you the beneficiary of the life insurance policy, did that pretty much end most of the contact you had with Lori, other than you reaching out to talk with JJ?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
All right, Cross.
This is remarkably quick. Nobody could believe how quick this went.
Ms. Lecoq, where were you on July 11th, 2019?
At home in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
So good.
Were you aware at all of the relationship between Charles and Tylee?
It was, let's say, it was a bit contemptuous. It seemed like there was always a lot of drama going on, and so that's all I knew. He didn't say too much about it, and I didn't pry.
But you knew that there was some kind of contention going on with those two for
I
a
can't hear
while.
you.
I'm sorry. You did know that there was some kind of contention going
I
on
love
with those
that
two
part.
for a while.
Yes.
Okay. And you weren't really aware of the events that happened that morning, were you?
The morning of
July-
his murder?
Of July 11th?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
Because you didn't tell me.
That's right.
Ms. Lecoq, did you see or hear or personally witness me conspire with Alex Cox to kill my husband, Charles Vallow?
No, but I saw a ton of evidence that did.
Thank you. No further questions.
Bam.
All right, redirect.
Just briefly.
Yes. There you go. There you
You
go.
asked about the relationship between your brother and Tylee. How old was Tylee when Lori and Charles got married?
She was 3, or right around 3.
So was Charles in her life for most of her memorable years?
Exactly. Yes, he was.
And how old was she in July of 2019?
She was 16. Yeah,
So a teenager.
yes.
In terms of their relationship, are you saying that Charles and Tylee never had good times?
Oh, I'm not saying that. I saw them have good times, and it wasn't, it wasn't that they couldn't look at each other, or, it wasn't like that. But I mean, yeah, a teenage girl on one is hard anyway. But I do know that there was a lot of issues with her dad and Lori with her ex-husband and custody, and it was a mess. It was a mess.
So Tylee had a lot going on in her life,
Yes, she did.
and you would see her and Charles at times have difficulty getting along.
I never really saw anything that sticks out in my mind. But I just know he'd tell me how it was just difficult. And it, you know, as a step parent, it can be very difficult. I can attest to that.
So on July 11th, when Charles Vallow was killed, did you actually have any idea that your brother was dead?
None at all. How would I know?
So in terms of you learning that your brother was dead, it was never from Lori
Or
Vallow.
from her.
It was,
It was from Google that my husband found.
thank you. I have no other questions.
Are there any questions for this witness from anyone on the jury? I don't see any questions. You can step down now.
Thank you.
Done. All right, members of the jury, that's going to conclude trial for this week. No trial tomorrow. I'm going to try to start early on Monday and Tuesday only. So just a preview next week, I plan on, if you guys can all be here at 10 a.m., ready to start a little earlier than
That
normal
part
for
right
Monday and
there was
Tuesday.
so-
And then Wednesday and Thursday we'll be back to the 10:30.
that was very heartwarming to see him. Yeah, me too. Me too. I know. That's why I said, look, you know, you see some of these people so, you know, their hearts have been broke, but they are there for each other, and they are, you know, there are some things that she can't do. Yeah, I know. When you said you saw that, I was like, wow. I never see any part of the gallery at all. Right, Queen? That's all I could think. I was looking at my notes and I just saw that is what I had wrote really big. I had all these little things in my book. And I had written that she hasn't managed to do that, you know, and I'm not saying that these people's lives can ever be the same. I mean, you can't. And but she can't just win in all this, you know. She's not going to be free. She's never going to be free. She's never going to fucking be on Dancing with the Stars. That's not going to happen. She hasn't been transported. I mean, whatever the hell all that is that she talked about. You're a convicted murderer and you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. And after this little show that this is your last little hoorah. You get to come here and make a mockery of all the shit you've done. But these people are going to be there for each other. And you can't stop that. Thank God. And that's all. I mean, that's all I can say about this right now is just that you know, she did a lot of really, really horrible things. She has done. And I think she's done far more than anybody even knows about. And just her little bullshit that she pulls all the time was hurtful to people. Right? It's so... You know, I know a lot of people through her life were very impressed with her. I could tell you I never would be. That is the kind of person that I would run very far from because she would irritate the shit out of me, first of all. And I cannot handle people like that. I just can't. They drive me absolutely nuts. But I'm going to end it there. I really, I'm really, really super happy that I went today. I'm very happy that, I don't know, it sounds bad because I'm happy, but it was very emotional and it was a big day. And I think that the one thing that she didn't do is get up there and just go back and forth with Kay, did she? No. Kay wasn't one of her stupid, twitty little friends. That didn't work for her that way. Not at all. So anyway, we need justice for Charles. Everybody, please pray for the family. Please pray for them. This is just horrific. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on, just doesn't end. And they need to be to the end of it. They need total justice. And they need to move on and try to do what they can do for themselves and just get on with their life and be done with that. So everybody, please pray for this family, all of them. They're all hurting. And thank you so much for doing this with me. I appreciate it. And I don't know, with no, thank you, Queen. Absolutely. 100. Yes. Rest in peace, Charles, please. You are a good man and you were done way wrong. And that's happening now. Finally, we're getting justice for you. So I don't know when I'll be back on right now. It's been a long week. I'm literally very exhausted. I didn't sleep much at all last night. But so I'm not quite sure. I'll get something figured out. But thank you so much for doing this with me tonight. I appreciate you all. I love you. And I will see you very soon, I think. And again, Ira McGinnis, stay where you are. We're good. We're all good here. Good night, guys.